Hi everyone, Pete and Grade here.
Hello everyone.
And we want to talk about the kids going back to school. Of course, that's very current at the moment with all the little kids going back to school and the mums trying to cope with the kids when they come home from school. And then of course there's stressed out teachers as well. So we want to talk about what school does for the children, or how stressful it is for everyone, even though, you know, lots of kids love going to school, and but yet when they come home they're very drained. It's very, very draining for everyone. Okay.
Tom, our youngest son, and Lucy and their young family have been in the front of our house because they're renovating their own place, and young Wilbur started over at 4th Primary, just across the fence. And Lucy wondered what had happened to a nice little boy for the first few days. He had come home grumpy and crabby and even yelling at her. And it
changes something in the brain chemistry.
Yeah, it does. And I had a client came, mum brought her daughter to me who was she was a late teenage girl. She was having really severe anxiety and panic attacks. And I thought, well, a bit of energy healing won't go astray, and we can detect back where the stresses come from. And at age 4, there was a major stress come up in the body. And I said, how was she when she went to kinder? And her mum said, oh, she loved it. She was a life being a little girl, and she left me at the door and was off out of sight with a group of other kids in no time. Loved it. And then she apparently still is a life being a type of girl, but Ali, she laughed and said, I can remember being yelled at by the teachers a lot because I was so lively and energetic, and had to sit on the blue chair a lot, which is the time out seat.
The naughty seat.
The naughty seat. And I asked her, I said, well, how do you think a little 4-year-old whose universe they're the most important person in their universe, and they were nice and safe at home with their mum, and then they go to school and they want the attention of the most important person in their life at school as well, which is their teacher, and the teacher shows disapproval by yelling, and then they put on the time-out seat. How would a little 4-year-old react?
Yeah, her body went into shock and trauma, right? And that was the root cause, well, one of the root causes of her panicky feelings like a decade later. But actually, I just want to quickly say, Pete and I, we have the utmost respect for teachers, by the way. Like, we don't know, honestly, how teachers come.
No, I'd take my hat off to teachers.
That's right, so that's not the issue. No. We're just talking about, you know, we're breaking down what happens from an early age. And when children go into the school environment, it's very, very stressful, and it's exciting, but it's also traumatic.
And it's stressful for the teachers.
That's right.
I certainly take my hat off, and the teachers are
an amazing, special breed. Really.
They are a special breed. They need the patience of...
And they need our support, and they need our respect and appreciation, absolutely, 100%.
They certainly do.
Yeah, and we do that too. So we want to... Oh yeah, and then talking about Wilbur, I just want to say something funny. So he is 5, and he can write his name perfectly well at home. But he came home with some artwork the other day, and he had spelled Wilbur exactly the opposite way, like in mirror image. And so we were all laughing because Tom, his father, which is our youngest son, used to do the same, because Tom was very dyslexic. But apparently Wilbur is not that dyslexic. So what happened was, the classroom situation completely scrambled his brain. So you know how we have our left and our right brain, and each brain hemisphere has its own function. And in the center of the brain, the two brain hemispheres talk to each other. They have to go, the messages have to go across a little bridge. And when you're really, really stressed, the bridge kind of shuts down. It's like Telstra down or Optus is down. The communication doesn't work. And
the right brain can't talk to the
that's
left
right.
brain.
And so we just start to operate on our dominant brain, which, you know, in some people it's the left or the right brain, which makes you dyslexic. So anyway, it made Wilbur write his name in complete mirror image, and he probably wasn't even conscious of it. So, and we do that as adults too, you know, like if you talk backwards, or like I start to talk double Dutch when I'm tired, or I call Pete John or something like that, like things come out back to front. So we have this...
A stressed brain.
That's right.
Yeah,
and then the whole reason kids go to school is, of course, to learn, right? But at the same time, the stress of being in the classroom has that effect of closing your brain down. And in a minute, Pete and I want to show you 3 little exercises that you can do with the children.
And yourself.
That's right. And the teacher.
Because when kids...
To switch your brain on again.
Yeah. When kids come home all crabby and grumpy and start yelling at
they're often hungry, by the way.
Their mums and dads. If they become stressed, or if they're a bit stressed, then it breaks down relationships. So,
well, that's right. They come home and they just let it all go.
You all can do the exercises together with your kids, and you all benefit.
So we want to show you the Mighty Means. So many parents over the years have been buying Mighty Means for their children.
It's full of good nerve nutrients.
And minerals. So like most kids' vitamins don't have minerals, but actually the minerals are more important than the vitamins. Yeah. And Mighty Means help your child to sort of, well, definitely be at peak performance during the class, like behavior and learning as well. And so they don't start writing backwards. And all the rest. And then for adults,
there's a similar thing for adults. So teachers and mums, to be your best self,
and fathers, Activator. That's the adult version. Now also, this is so good, Activator. Like we've had.
It's got about 30 different nutrients, easily absorbable nutrients.
Yeah. So like we have big blokes who've just run out of steam. So they're big, burly blokes. We've had people with chronic fatigue now, glandular fever. And so then when you're a big person like that, you need 6 a day. And even with the glandular fever, they got better within a week's time, which is unheard of. Because actually when you're sick or stressed, your body needs 7 times the normal amounts of nutrients. Like you have to times it by 7, and you can never get that from the food on your plate.
One of our clients is a fly-in, fly-out miner on the mainland, and he gets his Activator and Bioraculus
religiously
to stand him in good stead to supplement the food at the...
And then water
the single men's barracks.
Yeah, okay. And I have little jars of salt, so like I have one on the bench, I have one in my workroom, I have them everywhere. So this is Himalayan salt, which is absolutely foundational for your body. So water is first, well, air is first, of course, and then water and then salt. And actually iodine is the 4th element, so that's really important for your brain as well.
And magnesium. Just another thing about Tom and Lucy and Wilbur, they give Wilbur a teaspoonful of magnesium powder pretty well every night, so he'll go to sleep and rest properly.
And they've done that since he was about that size.
Yeah, and we were thinking that it would cause him to
have diarrhea, have
runny poo, but it doesn't. He utilises it. He's a real active, happy little fellow.
Oh, they're really, really beautiful, amazing, wonderful kids. And of course, it's all about making sure that your wonderful, beautiful child keeps shining all the way through primary, high school, and then into adulthood, and that beautiful soul spirit doesn't get squashed somewhere along the line. And if you do notice that your child is getting squashed or hurt or whatever, bring him or her to us for a visit, because often one visit is enough to shift, to have a massive shift, like massive transformation, they back to their normal good self. And also, yeah, if you're worried about your child's behavior, because we do that as well, so like children are often recommended to us by teachers or the education department, because we've been doing this kind of work for so long. So even if your child's behavior has totally gone down the gurgler, makes no difference, does it, Peter?
No.
Because they just need 1 or 2 sessions, and it's like an instrument that gets a tune up.
Tweaks the
And
brain
they're
pathways.
honestly as good as gold. Like often in one session, the transformation is just incredible. So I just want to tell you that, because so you don't have to despair.
I wish we'd known about Activator and Mighty Mins when we had little kids, because I just...
What are you going to tell now?
Just want to tell you a story that Grada related to me years ago. Lisanna had been put on time out because she tried to run away from school because she was got into trouble with
Well, I cannot just
a
feel...
teacher.
Lisanna was only grade 2 or 3 maybe, so, and even at age 9 she weighed almost nothing. This was our second daughter. She used to get picked on a lot by everyone, which broke my heart. And she was just like a little fairy girl, really. She was like a fairy, just a beautiful, floaty type of person, skinny, and like there was nothing of her. And she was bullied, and so she wanted to run away from school one time, and the teachers in that school, the headmaster, didn't want to look into why she wanted to run away. Anyway, Pete, you were telling the story.
Anyway, they saw her running away and they caught her, and she was to go on time out for a week. Anyway,
like during
Mum,
playtime and lunchtime.
her mum, feeling sorry for her,
That's me.
decided to go and sit with her during lunch break. And the first day she went there, here little Lisanna was sitting all by herself on the time-out seat in the full sun, and no shade whatsoever.
And she wasn't allowed to move.
Suddenly the lioness came out of Grada.
I still feel so angry.
And I think all the school heard her stomping up the corridor, and she went straight into the...
There was this really long corridor that went from the entrance to the teacher lunchroom.
Straight into the staff room where the teachers were having their lunch, and I don't know what type of... It was double Dutch or English come out, and she told them in no way that she was taking Lisanna home and she could do time out for the week at home. So Lisanna stayed home for a week.
Well, I really let them have it actually, because I tried to negotiate with the principal, you know, to find a solution for a deep, deep distress and unhappiness, and instead they made the distress worse by humiliating her and putting her on the seat. I still feel like crying when I think about that. And so in the end, I thought I'm just going to sit with her, but then when I saw her, it just made my blood boil. I actually did my father, like I went from passive aggressive into, I've never heard myself scream like that. I screamed at all the teachers. And by the way, I would do the same if it was today. And I think it taught them a lesson. And not only that, they put up a shade over the timeout seat outside from that moment on.
Because
so
the kids had to wear their hats out in the sun, and here Lisanna was sitting out.
But anyway, what's the point of this story?
I was thinking if Lisanna had Mighty Mins to boost her confidence and energy, she may not have had such trouble. And if Grada had Activator, then the lioness mightn't have had to roar so much.
The lioness might have roared the whole time then. I'm actually sitting here thinking what could have happened, you know, if she'd run away, because she was running in the wrong direction for starters. And she could have just got lost and all sorts of terrible things could have happened. So this is how disasters happen, and I'm not sorry at all that I...
But our nervous systems get
traumatized.
Really rankled and traumatised, and the Mighty Men's and the activator do a good job at soothing that nervous system.
Yeah.
So we can act from a rational brain rather than a stress brain.
Because you liked it, happy.
Well, it does seem to. You can negotiate a little bit better.
People like it when you're rational, and they don't listen to you when you're irrational. I know that very well. Then you have to talk louder and louder. So
Brada was going to demonstrate, or we were going to demonstrate the three little exercises you can do if your child comes home.
I can think of a few.
Stressed.
The easiest one, maybe Peter should do that one to me right now, because I'm still feeling stressed about my daughter, who is actually 36, she's 36 now, and when I think about that incident, I still feel my heart snap in half
So
on her behalf.
when we get stressed, the energy goes back into the
back brain.
The reptilian brain.
Okay, that's called the survival brain.
Survival brain.
So do a demo.
So to bring the energy back to the rational brain, you put one hand on the back of the head and the palm of the hand on the forehead, and just hold that there, and it energizes, brings the energy back.
Makes the blood flow from your survival brain to your rational brain.
To the rational brain, and it settles kids down in quick time.
Well, you could say...
And adults.
Mm-hmm.
You can do it to yourself if you're an adult, and teach your children to do it for themselves, but if they're so stirred up, just doing it for a couple of minutes will
already feel better.
Really settle things down and balance.
I don't want to get too rational.
Balance the nervous system again.
Yeah, totally true. I felt myself settle straight away, like that didn't take long for me at all. So, and you can even like this, do it yourself. That will even undo an allergic reaction to like food or whatever, peanuts. You know how people have reactions. That is often enough to save a life. So you can do this yourself. And mind you, that might take 20 minutes or something. So it really helps your body to get out of fight and flight. And then there is another really important one that's called the Cook's hookup. Is that what you wanted to talk about? And that brings out your peak performance. Cook's hookup, you can Google it, but Peter will show it. So do you want to...
So you sit...
Just here, you can show them. I'll do it because your hips won't work.
Yeah. Well, you can put your legs like that as well.
So you have to go like this, but actually people can't see my legs. So just move it down a bit. Yeah. So see, this is what I do. So it's about crossing the midline. That makes your left and right brain work together. And then you put one hand on the foot, like here, and the other one on the knee. And then after a while, you feel all your brain chemistry coming together. Like if you've been angry, or if you felt scared or worried or stressed, it puts you back into your natural calm state. So this is wonderful. And if you do this a lot, it really restores your nervous system. And then you swap over. So, okay, there you go. So you can see that. So I'm doing this really fast, but give yourself, a good 5 or 10 minutes every day to do this. So just show them my foot again. That's it. So, and see one hand on
and you can also put your tongue towards the roof of the mouth and just do slow, deep breath in and blow it out, puff it out.
Okay, so that's enough for that one. If you want
the other Cook's hookup?
Oh yeah. Okay, how can you? Okay. I can't see. Can they see you?
So the other
Can they see?
cook's hookup is if you sit straight up, erect, and then you cross your feet over.
Can I see it?
Not quite, so down on my feet. So you cross one foot across the other. So again, crossing that midline. Then you extend your hands out, cross over and lock your hands like this, and then bring it
To your chest.
back around and pop the hand on your chest.
Can they
Just
see?
space it down a bit. Yep, that's it.
Okay.
And you hold that position while you do those slow, deep breaths with your tongue to the roof of your mouth against the back of your teeth. And you can do that for 6 to 10 breaths, and then
Yeah.
you bring your hands, unlock them and bring your fingertips together and do the breathing again with your tongue at the back of your teeth on the roof of your mouth.
Mm-hmm. I'm starting to feel too zen here.
So if you do that with your children, get them to do it and you do it with them, everything...
It changes the energy.
It does change the energy, and it really settles things down.
And it opens the brain pathway that promotes like the best behavior and good healing, and makes take in the information easier and all the rest. And then I'll finish with one that's real fun. Peter doesn't know what I'm going to do.
Not brain gym.
No, just stay in the picture. So I'm just going to... So Peter's been very naughty, and he hasn't been listening at all, and he's not focusing and not learning. And he is being, being a bad boy. So this is how you can snap him out of that. So Peter has to look at a point in front of him, and I just go like this on the periphery of his... just on the periphery, so he can see my fingers, but he's not allowed to look at them. And that puts people in a learning state as well, so that gets people out of fight and flight into deep relaxation. How does that feel, Peter? Mm-hmm. Peter already feels relaxed anyway.
So you can get your kids to do that themselves as well if they feel a bit stressed.
Yeah, but it's actually real fun to do that with your children, because these are all little things you can do together, and it builds a connection. And then, by the time they're teenagers, you still have that real beautiful connection that you're able to maintain. And because you're constantly giving yourself a tune up and your children at the same time, so you up level the whole family.
If you do that before they go off to school, then they're in that state to go off to school.
It's called the learning state.
They learn a lot better with that.
Okay. And they won't be writing anything backwards. So when you start writing backwards, it means your brain is like jammed on.
There is that other...
Yeah, but we can leave this for another time.
We can leave that for another time.
We've learned so many things over the years. Like I used to even teach brain gym with parents and kids at one point in time 10 years ago. Okay, so thanks everyone. Hope you enjoyed this. And so remember the mighty means, and supplements, drink water and salt, have lots of fun, believe in yourself, don't be too hard on yourself. Because when I look back over my lifetime, when I was a mom with 6 little kids, I was too hard on myself. If I could do my time again, I would look at myself with very, very more kindness and appreciation and compassion.
Remember that little 4-year-old and love it to bits. Nothing was your fault at that age.
No, that's right. So just treat yourself with compassion and kindness. Thank you everyone for tuning in. I hope you have a really, really awesome week, and we look forward to spending time with you again next Thursday night.
Okay, have a good week.
Thanks everyone.
Stay
Big
warm.
love. Bye.